Hello and welcome back to the Totally Unstructured podcast, where there is no script, there is no structure, it is totally...
Structuredly not.
It's pogint.
It's pogging.
It's podcast-int. No, because it is a podcast still. It's structured-int. That sounds horrible. Pogint has such, like, a nice flow to it. Structured-int does not have a nice flow to it. I gotta pause this thing over here so I don't see me flipping around anyways. All right, welcome back to the Totally Unstructured podcast. We are live. We are here, and once again, in my basement-dwelling horrible room, and having a jill... What?
This is not a basement.
They don't know that. You can't tell them what it is, that they're going to find us, and then they're going to be outside. They're like, "We love you," with signs and everything, and then we're not going to be able to leave the house or anything.
I would be impressed, but also terrified.
Yes, me
if
too.
that even happened.
I mean, I told you the story about the one time where I thought I got recognized right outside my house, right?
No.
No? I feel like I told this story once. It's very, very short. I was leaving the house. I was going for a walk, just getting some fresh air. And I walked outside, and I was like between the two buildings here, or the two units of this building.
No.
And I saw a dude. This is, by the way, when I had my shaved sides of my head and I had my long hair in a ponytail, like a top knot. So, and I was walking down the street, and one guy looked across the street, and he stopped, and he turned to face me, and he went, "Skull!" And I was like, holy shit, this man knows who I am. He knows that I say Skull all the time. And I was like, he knows I'm WinglessValkyrie and everything. And I was in such an immediate panic, and it went from immediate like excitement and crazy, like this is the first time I've ever met a fan, to immediately utter terror. I'm right outside my house. He knows where I live now. This is not good, kind of thing. But amongst all these immediate, just like milliseconds of feelings, I looked back at him and I went, "Hey, Skull!" And I started to take a step towards him to go talk to him because I thought he knew who I was. I took one step and he went, "I love Vikings!" And he kept walking.
Yeah.
And I was like...
that's where I thought it was going.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, me too. And then I kept walking. So that was the one and only time, for the briefest of split hair moments, I was in the most utter excitement of my life to ever finally get recognized, and the most shock and horror of he knows where I live. I'm right outside my house. He definitely saw me walk out of this fucking door, to be just like, "Oh, you're right,
You've
my
been
hair."
doxxed, friend.
Yeah. To immediately get humbled of hair, beard, right, I'm a nobody, and move on. So, but yeah. And now after this podcast, we're gonna walk outside, and there's gonna be people out there with fucking signs and everything. 'Cause I love Structured. Structured-int.
If it was anybody, it would be Alex and Ashy.
That's true. It would be Alex and Ashley. Ashley holding up a sign. It's like, "I love Riffixix," and Alex just holding up a sign saying, "Me too." It's like, fuck you guys.
Or it'd be, "Fuck you."
Or that. So anyways, welcome back to Totally Unstructured. Please don't go to my house. It's not okay. Don't do that. It's still not okay. I know it's kind of fallen out of favor. Thank God. You know about swatting and everything, right? Yeah, that shit's awful. Please don't come to my house or anything.
Don't send the SWAT to our house.
Don't send SWAT to my house or anything. I think I've told this story about, well, it's not a story, but like my plan of if I ever got like pseudo famous, not like famous, but like pseudo big online, that I wanted to go to the RCMP and be like, "Hey, here's all my information. This is what I do for a job and everything. If you get a phone call, please contact me first." Because there have been so many times where, like, really, because the worst thing is that I feel like I've talked about this one before. So do you know Ludwig?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know his girlfriend, Cutie Cinderella?
Eh.
You know of her?
She exists.
Okay, good enough. So Ludwig's house, he lives in a big, not really a content house or anything, but like, he lives with 5 other people, and all 5 of them kind of like work with him on content and such. So it's not like a house of content creators. It's basically a bunch
house of content.
Oh my god, that sounds horrible. But because there are things like content houses where it's like just a massive house with 10 different content creators who all like work together, but they all have their own like content and everything. That's not Ludwig's house. Ludwig's house is like primarily, like, he is the main content creator of the house, and then everybody either works with him or does like their own thing kind of off to the side. Like Cutie, what I would say is like the second biggest content creator in that house, but she's also Ludwig's girlfriend. So and then everybody else in there either has a podcast with Ludwig or they help him work on YouTube stuff with Ludwig. So it's not really a content house, but either way, that house has been swatted not once, not twice, but 3 times. And all 3 times they've had the exact same officers come to that house and bitch at them and complain at them that they need to get different jobs because they are wasting their time. And they have had to tell them, Do you not understand that it's not us making these calls? We don't want you showing up here with shotguns pointed at our fucking face. Because one time they hauled out, everybody had come out of the house, but I don't know his actual name, but he's online. He's known as Slime. And Slime hadn't come out of the house yet. So they had called there because it was a terrorist threat. And a terrorist was holding them all at gunpoint. And the terrorist would probably release them one at a time. So sadly, the way it worked out is the last person out of the house was presumed to be the terrorist. And that happened to be Slime. So when Slime came out of the house saying, I'm the last one, they put him to the ground, put their foot on him, and pointed a shotgun at the back of his head. And everyone's freaking out. Like, what are you doing? He's not a terrorist. This is a fake call and everything. And that's when they had the whole thing is like, if this is a fake call, then you need to get different jobs because this is bullshit. And it's like, that's not our fucking problem. It's not our fault. Like, do better at your fucking job. Same. But it's just one of those things where it's like, and this wasn't the first time they've been to that house. This was the second time. The third time they showed up, they were just like, are you guys doing anything illegal? Do you have a bomb threat or anything? They're like, no, obviously. And they search the house and everything. It's like, get different jobs. This is bullshit and such.
You don't tell people to get different jobs.
Right? It's unbelievable.
They could just shoot back and be like, be better at yours.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. Why should I get a different job when you could be better at yours? I'm not the one making these calls to you. I'm not the one wanting you to point fully automatic rifles at me and hold my friend on the ground with a shotgun to his head because you think he's a terrorist. That's fucked up. And the worst thing, I probably make more money than you. Why are you telling me to get a different job? Like, fuck off. So it's just one of those things where it's like, and the worst part is like, they'd been to that house already before they'd even got to that point. So it's just one of those things where it's like, if I ever got to like a little bit bigger, I would like to go to the RCMP and be like, this is all information. If you ever get a phone call that says like, I'm holding people hostage or I have a gun strapped to my body or anything, please call me, have a code word or something that you could be like, hey, is this Torres? And I could be like, yeah. And they'd be like, Pink Flamingo. And I'd be like, Pink Flamingo. And they sounds good. Excellent. Have a good day. And then they just don't send anyone. Cause
all right, boys, you know the
passcode's play. Yeah, if you find me address and you want to fucking dox me, just like, hey, this guy's got the thing, and then they'll call me.
He's got the Pink Flamingo.
He's got the Pink Flamingo, and then yeah, my life surrender or anything. Also, Lord Ghost Cat, I love Afro Dad. There you go. Lord Ghost Cat will be outside with I love Afro Dad sign.
Yes, I know. I need to get it cut.
I don't think it's that bad, honestly. I think it could go longer.
You say that every time.
I do, because I believe it. I think you should give in.
No.
I
don't want to look like a hobo.
You won't look like a hobo.
I do look like a hobo.
How can you look like a hobo when Dalton thinks you look like Afro Dad? Is Afro Dad a hobo?
Probably.
No. How dare you? Afro Dad is a multi-millionaire with sick drip and sick fro. He's got like 14 combs hidden in that fro.
That's something a homeless person would do.
Damn shade.
Am I wrong?
I don't know. I've never had an interaction with a homeless person and asked them how many combs they got hiding in their wig or hair. Normal. I don't know. No, the worst, the most memorable interaction I had with a homeless person was when they threatened to stab me, and that was a fun time.
Oh, fun.
I never told that story either.
You probably did, but
a short story. I was a security officer. This is back when I worked at Paladin. There was a dude sleeping on the steps to a church, and the church asked me to go remove him. So I went there and I was like, "Hey man, you got to go. Sorry, the church got open. They asked me to remove you." And he didn't say anything, and he wasn't moving. So I was like, "This guy's either in a very, very deep sleep, is trying to avoid me, or is dead." So I got down close and I was like, "Hey, if you can hear me, like, please respond. I need to know that you're active and that you're alive in there. And if you can, I need you to move." And then he jumped up, furious out of his mind, got right up in my face. And he was like, "If you say one more thing to me, I will fucking stab you." And I took one step back and I went, "I need you to leave." And he just went, "Fuck you, man. Fuck you." And just started gathering his stuff and everything. And I was like, that's about it. I was
all talk, all bark, no bite.
It was another one of those moments where it was like, as soon as he got in, he was like, "If you say another word to me, I will stab you." One part of me is like, "Whoo, I'm fucking out here. I don't get paid enough for this bullshit." But another part of me is like, there's no chance the man's gonna stab you in broad daylight on the church steps. You're wearing a bulletproof vest. There's no chance. And that was the part that I was like, I'm just gonna take one step back. Just give him some space and be like, "You need to go," and just stay stalwart.
Which was probably the right choice.
It was probably the right choice because
he's stepping back in particular.
Yeah, that one in particular. Because I didn't want to threaten him and be like, "Hey, yo, if you don't fucking move, I'm gonna call the cops on you" or anything. Because I didn't care to do any of that. I was just like, "Listen, you gotta go. You know you can't be here. I know you can't be here. Like, just mosey on out, just do your thing, get gone. So when he jumped up with the knife and everything, I was like, bro. Like a part of me is like, like, this is where I died. This is it. This is how I'm fucking out of here. But I also have a bulletproof vest on. It's like, okay, if he just tried to stab you, hope he goes center mass and nothing happens. So, but yeah, that was the most memorable experience I had with a homeless person. It was very short, but it was like the most like, oh, I might die right now kind of things. So, but yeah. Anyways, so a couple of things. I know you didn't bring any topics for this here podcast because, as you had said, quote, head empty. Yep. So, and that's fine. So I've got 2 topics for you today.
I thought you had 4.
I had 2 initial big ones I wanted to talk about. One sort of big one. One I just mainly wanted to get your thoughts on, and I feel like I know what our thoughts are going to be, and it's just going to end up with both of us dunking on the topic in general.
Oh, let's do that one first.
You want to do that one first? Okay, excellent. So, Elon Musk. You may have heard of him. You might know his name. He's an individual. He is one of the individuals of all time. He is one of the individuals of all time. Depending on people's views of him, I would say it's generally well regarded that several years ago, Elon Musk was held in pretty much high regard by, I would argue, basically everyone. Nowadays, I wouldn't say the same.
He's a little bit of a meme.
He's a little bit of a meme. He likes to have a little giggle here and there. And the main problem is that his giggles can only happen because the man is if not one of the richest men in the world and has just a lot of stupid, unnecessary money and power. And what he chooses to do with that stupid amount of unnecessary money and power has been very questionable as of late. You know of his purchase of Twitter, I imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. You know that he runs or owns SpaceX. You know that he owns Tesla and the Boring Company and AIX, I think is what it is. His AI company, whatever. I think it's AIX or it could be XIA. I don't know, whatever. But anyway, the big thing he's known of these days is the man who owns Twitter because Twitter is Twitter and Twitter is social media, so everybody gets things going on. Good old twatter, indeed. So it's come to the attention that I have to unfortunately report to you something. Twitter is dead.
It's now changed to something else.
So you already know of this?
I've seen it. I don't know the specifics of it, but it's becoming Thread?
No. Oh, no. Okay. No.
Or it's like X something.
You're close. You're very, very close. So let me start with the first thing. Threads. Threads, not Twitter. Threads is owned by the brand new company, Meta.
Oh,
previously known as Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook. There it is.
Yes,
okay.
but
I got them mixed up.
Yes, but they are now rebranded to Meta so that they can own different companies and not just be known as the Facebook company that owns Facebook. So now they're the Meta company that owns Facebook, Instagram, Oculus, and what have you. Which everybody dunked on as like Meta is a horrible name. But when you think about it now, it's like it's better to be the company Meta that owns Facebook, Instagram, and Oculus instead of Facebook that owns Facebook and Facebook owns Instagram and Facebook owns it's a little bit better. So I give Meta a pass and change the name to Meta. It makes a bit more sense.
The metaverse means the Phantom Thieves are canon.
Yeah. The metaverse, that's a whole other topic. I just want to say the biggest meme on the metaverse ever. Mark Zuckerberg and Meta as a whole poured not millions, billions into the metaverse and everything. Untold billions. Do you want?
I know this is going.
Where is this going? Do you want to finish this off for me?
The concurrent.
Oh yeah. The last reported like active player count
7. It's like in single fucking digits.
The highest reported player count in the last 3 months was 58. In the last 3 months, 58. Billions into the metaverse, and its highest player count was 58 in the last 3 months. Do you know how many active people are on VR Chat?
Oh,
a $12 Steam game.
Considering you can be waifus, millions,
hundreds of thousands.
It costs enough.
Yeah. So, yeah. And that is a $12 game with. A couple thousand has gone into the making of it, but honestly, the vast majority of it
is just modding.
It's just made by people who bought the game themselves, got access to developer tools because they give them out freely, and just went, I'm going to make my own little worlds and everything. And the devs don't have to do shit. Yep. It's one of those hilarious things. So anyways, Twitter is kind of on fire, or was on fire. Rest in peace, Twitter. We'll get to that. So Twitter was on fire, and everyone was just kind of like memeing on how bad Twitter is becoming with Elon Musk at the helm, and just a lot of changes that are happening to Twitter that a lot of people were like, this is just stupid. These are dumb ideas, and the only people like enjoying the ideas are people who are already fans of Elon Musk, like diehard fans before he even took Twitter.
Like Elon simps.
Yeah,
they're doing their thing.
Pretty much.
Simps do as simp does.
Indeed. So, Meta had been working on their own Twitter Threads for quite some time. But then with recent things happening with Twitter, Meta moved up the launch date for Threads a whole 2 months in advance because they wanted to get Threads out while the iron was hot, while everyone was pissed off at Twitter. So they had a perfect thing to be like, hey, if you're so angry with Twitter right now, here's Threads, and try that out. Instead of like when the fire already burned out and people have kind of been like, whatever, here's another app. And I was like, but it's like, if you can get them while everyone's angry, then they can show their angst against Twitter by joining Threads. So it was this big thing, and it led to over 100 million new user signups on Threads in a week, and it was the fastest growing social media app in history. And, and a part of the reason is because the only way you could sign up for a Threads account is if you already had an Instagram account. But so that was part of why the sign up was so easy, because if you had a Instagram account, all you need to do, you open the Threads app. Do you have an Instagram account? Yes. Log in with the Instagram account. Clink. Done. And that's a user sign up.
Yep.
So it's kind of like over 100 million brand new user signups. Yeah, but the sign up was so goddamn easy because you had to have an Instagram account in order to sign up. So if you wanted to make a Threads account and you didn't have Instagram, you had to sign up for Instagram first and then link that to Threads, which was a little annoying. Yep. But Instagram's been around for so long that everybody and their dog has an Instagram account. So everyone just did that, except for you. But basically everybody else just did that. And there was a big influx of people, tons of stuff. And if you look at Google Trends, Threads, no one's using it anymore.
Oh, fuck no.
No one's using it. Everyone's gone crawling back to Twitter. Because,
all right.
But there's a big reason for that, but we'll get to that later. But anyway, so that's the difference. Is Threads is owned by Meta, Twitter is owned by Twitter. It's owned by Elon Musk.
Good old twatter.
Yes. So, but now we come to today, where as of midnight last night, Twitter doesn't exist anymore.
Oh.
Twitter is dead. Twitter.com is dead. The Twitter bird icon is dead. Today we unveil X.
Oh, I remember this. And you want to know something funny that they did?
I would love to know. I think we're probably on the same train.
I think we know.
But you go first.
So, coincidentally, there's a certain interesting website, very interesting, that unfortunately got his Twitter or Twatter account or X account deleted for no apparent reason other than having a certain handle. Poor old X videos got completely fucking destroyed because that's what they wanted to brand their new shorts, TikToks on the website.
Yep.
They didn't deserve this.
Nope.
I find it fucking hilarious,
Yep.
though.
Yep. And it gets so much worse.
Oh no, there's more.
Oh, there's so much more. So so let me just start listing the hilarious things that have happened since this whole changeover has happened. The Twitter headquarters, the actual building.
Twitter.
Yeah, see, it says home/Twitter. Before it would just say Twitter. So but also the icon is now an X instead of the tweet and everything.
Which apparently is something that already exists.
Yes. So there have been several things that have happened. So to start off, first things first, Elon Musk has a weird obsession with the X icon and the X letter. Space X, XAI. He already have the X in it. One of his children is named X-A8-184. It's just, I don't know. It just is. All these kinds of things.
Imagine being that child.
Imagine being that child. Back before PayPal existed, it was called X Bank before they rebranded to PayPal, because PayPal was made by Elon Musk before he sold it. It was called X Bank. And then they changed it to PayPal, and then they sold PayPal to whoever owns it now. I can't remember. But it used to be called X Bank. So he has this weird obsession with X. Twitter headquarters, the building, wanted to replace the giant Twitter sign outside their building with a brand new X logo. So they contracted a bunch of people to replace it. The contractors were not allowed to change it because they were told they had to go to Twitter HQ. But they had replaced the Twitter HQ like naming schematic on the building within the file and paperwork months ago. So they, for some reason, they legally were not allowed to change the sign to a building called Twitter when it didn't exist, because they changed it in the paperwork to the X building. So that I don't know the full details about it, but it was
so dumb.
It was basically one of those things where it was like, because they had done the paperwork months in advance, Twitter didn't exist. So the Twitter building didn't exist. So when they put in a file to change the Twitter building sign to X, they're like, this building doesn't exist. So it was just this whole ordeal that they couldn't do that. And also, as you mentioned before, Elon is an IRL X-Man, as Lord Ghostcat says. Yeah. Oh, and it gets so much better. So as you said before, someone who had the Twitter handle with X in the thing got erased entirely. Correct. So someone also asked Elon, well, with the changing from Twitter to X, what are tweets going to be called? Do you want to know Elon's response?
Excerpts?
Nope. That would be way better. That would be genius.
I'm fucking big brain for that one.
That you need to be on Elon's side, because that's way better than what Elon said. A tweet is now called... Nope. Nope. It's so much worse. It's not xylophones either, Lord Ghostcat. It's not that either. Nope. A tweet is now considered an X.
Oh my God.
No, like a letter X.
No.
So when you want to make a tweet, you are not tweeting, you are making a X.
See,
not EX, X.
An excerpt is fucking...
Yeah.
That's like perfect.
An excerpt makes perfect sense. That one I would be totally down for. Like, you know what? All right, that works.
Yeah, just let me X this real quick.
Yeah, let me sign on to x.com and make an X.
That's a no from me, dog.
Yeah, that's a no. On top of that, so there's a website called X Videos. Don't Google that. It's exactly what you think it is. If you're gonna Google it, use incognito mode for your own safety. But yeah, so there's a website called X Videos. But now, let me just upload this video to X real quick. Yeah. Which one? Because now, according to Elon as well, if a tweet is called an X, do you know what videos are called?
They're just X videos.
They're called X Videos. They're called X Videos.
I'm so
X
glad.
Videos already exist.
I am so glad that this is the one we're starting on, because it's going exactly the way we expected it.
Yep.
You're like, yeah, we're gonna dunk on this, and then I'm just like, hell yeah, brother.
Yep. It's so dumb. So your daily thing is now like, I sign on to the website X, and then I post an X, and then I watch an X video, and then everyone around you goes like, whoa, you're doing what? And I was like, no, it was just this dude talking about his day. With his meat out? No, this is on X. It's like, exactly. And you said an X video. No, different X video. It's just, it's wild.
So many people are just they're gonna try and go here, but the handle is gonna be just X or something, and they're gonna accidentally press it twice, and they're not gonna like what they're gonna get.
Yep. Or someone says, hey, you got to check out this X video, and they're gonna try to search it, and they're not gonna get the right website.
Nope. There's so much wrong with what he's doing.
There really, really is.
You didn't need to do this.
Oh, sorry. Another fantastic point that I need to bring up. So,
there's more.
Oh, there's one last really big thing, which hasn't shown its side yet, but a lot of people are speculating this will probably happen, and it very likely will. So, brands in this day and age are very sensitive about who they work with. You remember the adpocalypse on YouTube?
Yeah.
Long story short, people were uploading really, really controversial videos, and automatic advertisements were playing on those videos. So you could see something like someone being like, I actually really agree with Hitler. I think his opinion was very great. And then the video would stop, and then a Pepsi ad would play on it. Not put in by them, but the automatic advertisement stuff. And Pepsi then saw that kind of stuff and be like, whoa, we can't have our ads showing on these kind of videos. And then they would leave YouTube en masse, which led to the adpocalypse and YouTube.
I feel like you shouldn't have said that little excerpt.
Well, yeah, if you want to clip that out of context, fucking be my guest. Have fun with it. It's like, whatever. You know what? All media is good media. Boost my numbers. So, but anyways, so that was the reason for the adpocalypse and everything. And that's why a lot of creators saw they were getting like hundreds to $200 per video, and the apocalypse happened, and then they were suddenly making like $5 because so many advertisers just went, you can't control where our ads go on this platform anymore, gone. And then YouTube had to make some massive changes overall to their AI system to really analyze the video about what is going on in the video, and then pick what ads will work with this video, and they're not confrontational and all kinds of shit. Twitter is having a problem right now where even before Elon bought it, Twitter hasn't been profitable in years because the only way to make profit off of a free website is to either make a subscription version for that website or run ads on that website. That's the only reason to make a website profitable, because websites cost money. And Twitter's has had Twitter Blue for quite some time, but they never really pushed it or anything. And then they also had advertisements. So like every 5 or 6 tweets that you would see, you would then see an advertisement tweet, and it would say promoted on it. And it's very easy to just scroll past it and just continue.
Just like with Reddit.
Yeah, just like on Reddit. It's exactly the same type of idea. Just like Reddit, just like Facebook. If it's a free website, then there's going to be ads. And if there's not ads, there's a subscription or both. Yep. And even Reddit has the same thing with their coins and Reddit Premium and what have you.
Wow.
Yeah, Lamau. That's a whole other problem. But anyways, So Twitter's been bleeding money before even Elon Musk came in and bought the whole thing. And that was another part of the problem, is like Elon was like, I want to buy Twitter. And Twitter was like, sounds good. And they were about to make the sale. And then Elon went, you have actually a lot of problems. I don't want to buy Twitter anymore. And then the Twitter was actually able to force him to buy because they'd done so much work to make this sale. And they went to court and forced Elon. It was like, you cannot back out of this deal now. And the courts went, nope, you wanted to buy, you've done this work, you have to purchase Twitter now. And all the Twitter CEOs are like, fucking thank God this is not our problem anymore. So because they weren't profitable. So Elon immediately started firing staff en masse.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, to save costs. And then he upped the price of Twitter Blue, and then he made anybody could have a verified check mark next to their name if they bought
a little bit of cash.
Yeah, if you paid for Twitter Blue, you could have a verified check mark next to your name. And then all the companies and social media influencers are like, so this means that anybody can pretend to be me and have a verified check mark now. Great. That ruined any authenticity, and that led to like tons of problems. Like one of the biggest ones was, I think it was a drug company that sold I think it was insulin or something, and someone impersonated them because they paid for Twitter Blue and they got the check mark and everything, and they said insulin is going to be dropped by 96% across the board starting next month and everything, and they said that, and then the stock price for that company fucking nosedived because they were just going to be basically giving away insulin, or so they thought. And then people were like freaking out, and they were like, this is the best thing this company's ever done, this company's amazing, this company's amazing. And they started ordering like stuff en masse for next month in terms of when it would go dip in the sale and everything, and the stock prices fell and dipped and everything, and the actual public company had to come out with a statement and say, we're not changing our prices or anything. And then their stock price stayed low because of this whole debacle and everything, and everyone started pulling prices. This whole ordeal, and so Twitter eventually had to be like, okay, there is a problem with this. So they changed so they changed how the verification system works and everything now. So you know how they've changed it?
Oh no.
Everyone, if you sign up for Twitter Blue, you still get a verified check mark next to your name. If you're a company, you get a gold check mark. If you're a personality, you get a blue check mark. So people can still impersonate personalities. You can't impersonate companies, because signing up for Twitter Blue gives you a blue check mark, not the gold one. The gold one's only for companies. Also, companies get a square icon instead of the circle icon. So you could still impersonate people, you just can't impersonate companies now.
Well, you could try.
You could try, but it's a little difficult. So anyways, where was I getting to? Oh, right. So Twitter bleeding money, and he's doing all these different things to try and increase profit and everything. A lot of social media companies and marketing agencies, when Elon bought Twitter, they just dipped. They're like, we just don't want to be associated with Twitter because Elon owns it. So they dipped. So Twitter is losing even more money. And he's really pushing Twitter Blue now because, well, if advertisers are backing out, we need to get revenue somehow. We got to make that up somehow. So here's a funny idea. There are some people, social media influencers like Ludwig, for example, who have worked with brands and sponsorships many a times. Some brands and sponsorships decided not to work with Ludwig because he had a single picture at a event where he was taking a picture with an OnlyFans creator named Amaranth. In regular clothes, like you and me right now, they pose for a picture, posted on his Instagram, hanging out with Amaranth at the Streamer Awards or whatever. And two companies that he was signed up to do videos with and promotional stuff with backed out because he was associated with a known OnlyFans creator on Instagram from one picture. And they backed out of that.
Fun.
So with that in mind, I have to ask you, how many brands do you think have backed out of working on X.com now that it's no longer known as Twitter? It's now called X. And their videos are called X videos. How much advertising do you think is existing on that website?
No.
Very few.
Usually I just go, yes, this is a no moment.
Yep.
They're non-existent.
There is even more advertisers pulling out of working on that website because they do not want to be misunderstood of working with X videos. Even though they're not working with X videos, they're working with X. But it's too close.
This is a whole thing. It's just so fucking dumb.
Yep.
Had it been anything else, and he'd been smarter about it, like, fuck, man.
And that's the weirdest thing to me, because like Elon Musk is not a dumb individual. He's very intelligent. He's very smart. Like he made SpaceX. He made PayPal. He made all
He's
these
obviously
different
been
companies.
able to make things work.
Exactly. You don't become a multi-billionaire and one of the richest people in the entire planet through negligence and dumb and stupidness. You don't. You have to have some form of brain function or just incredible amounts of manipulation. But even to get this high, you need some form of intelligence. And it's clear that he has intelligence. But then there are aspects like this where you look at it and you go, the only thing I can think of here is one of two options. One, he is just that incredibly dumb. He is just that level of stupid. But I can't believe that. So the only option I could possibly think of is that this is 4D chess, and he's still trying to get out of owning Twitter in his own way by making the website fundamentally worse over time and just letting the fire burn and warming his hands with it and just saying, you know what? If I'm going to be forced to run this company, I'm going to fucking have a ball with it. That's the only way I can possibly think of why all these decisions are being made. Because as much as I don't like Elon Musk, he's not this dumb. He has a team of people that work around. He's not running Twitter by himself.
There was something that was said by someone I was just on Reddit or something that was like, Elon Musk is not a software engineer. Elon Musk is not he may be. It was like, I'm not a SpaceX person. I'm not a space engineer. I'm not I don't work. I'm not an AI creator. But I am a software engineer, and he's doing some stupid shit.
Mm.
And then it's just like, but I wouldn't be able to do the things that he's able to do. But he's not listening to anybody that is able to do the software engineering. So
yeah,
I don't know.
That. He is a person with big plans, lots of ambition, but no fucking idea how to properly do it.
Yep.
And he just tells people, like, you have to do it this way. And they go, but we can't. And he goes, I don't care. And it effectively sounds like how it is.
Yeah,
it's like,
that, yeah.
You will do it this way, because if you don't, I will fire you. And it's just like, we fundamentally can't do it this way. And he goes, I don't give a shit. Get it done. That's the only other way I could really see stuff like this. And then even like Twitter, so he's technically not the CEO of Twitter anymore. He's taken that position off, and there's some new female that's now the CEO of Twitter, but he still runs Twitter. So, and yeah, the CEO is like, we're proud to announce that it's now X and everything. It's like, no, you're not. You cannot look at this and be like, I'm proud of this. This has gone well. This is exactly what we want. And then you look at the dumpster fire burning and all the advertisers pulling out, all the people that are on your website, like just laughing their asses off at this horrendous thing. But I will say one final note. I don't know if you have any other final words on this, but I have one final note. Damn, we've been talking about this for 43 minutes. Mm-hmm. I have one final note about this situation. And it comes back to Threads. Threads was a perfect response to all this drama. It was a perfect response to bring people out of Twitter and take them over to something else that's just like Twitter, but run by a different company. Now, people don't like Meta and people don't like Mark Zuckerberg for many different reasons. And it's like, do you want to be on? Yeah, well, do you want to be on a social media run by this idiot or a social media run by this idiot kind of thing? So, but I will say, there is one thing that X has that nobody else does right now.
X videos.
Lamau, yeah, that. No, there's another website that has X videos. There is one other. But no, what they have that nobody else has. Because even with all this happening, like I mentioned before, Threads users had 100 million users sign up in 7 days, more than any other website. And then died. People are still on Twitter. People are still using Twitter. Mm-hmm. And even after all of this, the only people that are stopped using Twitter are advertisers, not the actual people that are on the website. Yeah, so even through all this bullshit, the thing Twitter has and nobody else does, staying power. No one has anything better. Threads doesn't have what's something better than Twitter because it looks exactly like Twitter. It's just black instead of blue. But the timeline and everything is set up the exact same. The way the user profile is set up, it's an exact copy of Twitter. And everything is just kind of Threads related. When you post something, it's not making a tweet. It's called making a thread on Threads. And, it all kind of works and it makes sense. But there is no history that you can look for. There's no previous tweets. There's no threads or anything that you can really read on. It's brand new. All these ships are just embarking. But there's nothing in the captain's log. There's nothing to learn. There's nothing to delve into. Mm-hmm. People are still going to use Twitter. That's what they know. That's what they're comforting in. People don't want to try something new because it's surface level. It hasn't been around long enough to build something.
Yeah, that's true. I
and
agree.
Arguably, it might have had a bit more if they didn't move it up by 2 months because they saw that we got to get this shit out now because Twitter is burning and they need a life raft and Threads is going to be that life raft. And it was for a week. And then they jumped back on the ship. So as much as I hark on it and everything, they are still here, and everyone keeps saying Twitter's dying, Twitter's dying, Twitter's dying, but those same people are still using Twitter. And even I am still using Twitter because there is nothing better. Twitter is a giant mess, and it keeps making changes, and it's ridiculous. But honestly, at the end of the day, I'm not the one losing. I don't have any money invested in Twitter. I'm not a Twitter blue user. I never will be. I just think that's such a dumb way to get my money. But it's like, if I have to see less advertisements, great, fine with me. If it does go away, great. I don't have to deal with the cesspool that is Twitter. But I get a lot of news from Twitter. I learn a lot from Twitter. Iron Mouse follows me on Twitter. Like I got so much shit on there. But Iron Mouse doesn't follow me on Threads. I got nothing on Threads. I haven't used Instagram in 2 years. I go on Facebook to look. Whenever Facebook gives me a notification, it's you have memories today. I look at the memories. I go, that was cringe, and I delete all of them. I am slowly purging my entire existence off of Facebook. And eventually I will leave Facebook entirely. The only reason I have Facebook, any reason right now, is two. One, Marketplace. Marketplace is great. I like Facebook Marketplace. That's the only reason I use it for.
And memes.
And memes. No, I don't even use that. Dalton uses memes on Facebook because he keeps sending me memes on Facebook. And I'm like, Dalton, you're as old as us. What are you looking at memes on Facebook for, my guy? Instagram Reels, technically still Facebook. TikTok, YouTube Shorts. Bro, like, why are you looking at them on Facebook? But whatever. That's his prerogative. So, but no, it's Facebook Marketplace and keeping up with family because family's old. And family doesn't use Twitter or X or anything else. So, like, my mom only uses Facebook. She doesn't look at anything else. My dad has a Facebook. He never uses it, but he doesn't use social media whatsoever. So, it's just one of those things. My grandmother, she has Messenger. She doesn't have Facebook, but she has the Messenger app, and that's how she talks to everybody. It's just through the Messenger thing on her iPad. So, it's just one of those things where it's like...
Keeps y'all connected.
Yeah, it keeps family connected, but I know there is a day coming. I don't know when it is, but a day will come where I will delete Facebook because either my family has stopped using Facebook for communication or, sad to think of, but they just don't exist anymore and I don't need it anymore. And I mean, by that time, there will probably be other ways to communicate, whether that's just telepathy. Who the fuck knows? Elon's XAI will make neurochips for us to all communicate. Who the fuck knows? So, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about, like, Twitter is a dumpster fire, and it's hilarious to watch and burn, but honestly, I think there's 4D chess going on because there is no competitor to Twitter, and the only one that can possibly compete with them is brand new and is dead. The worst part is that the only way to make them not dead is for more people to use it and more people to actually make threads to tweet. But because nothing's there, it doesn't feel like alive. Nobody's doing anything. Because everyone's so ingrained with using Twitter. And I, honest to God, don't think people are going to leave Twitter en masse unless Twitter itself shuts down. I don't, and until that, I think. I love competition. Competition raises all ships. I want there to be more options than Twitter, and there are several. There's Mastodon's another option. There's another company I can't remember, but it's similar to Mastodon, where they all have that same Twitter vibe. But the problem is nobody uses them. So anytime you go to those websites and you go to anybody's threads or the tweets, they have like 5, and they're just the exact copies of tweets they made on Twitter. They just like posted them all the same website. So it's like, well, I already saw these on Twitter. So I'm not going to go over here and see the exact same things because no one's posting new original stuff over here. And people are like, well, why would I? No one will see it over here, so they're just going to keep using Twitter. So, yeah. So overall, Twitter's burning. It's fun to watch. But honestly, I think 4D chess is happening. And, until Twitter actually itself shuts down, I think people are going to keep using it all they want. They're going to keep, memeing on it and shitting on it. It's like the whole Walmart thing. People bitch and complain. It's like Walmart uses child slavery to make all their clothing and everything, and it's like, this is bad. It's horrible. We got to boycott Walmart. Hey, they're having a sale. Great. Whose keys are we taking? You can complain all you want, but you know for a fact you're not going to go anywhere else. So it's the same thing. It's that whole ordeal. So yeah. Any comments from you on Twitter and its whole ordeal and bullshit?
No, not really.
No. Okay. Well, we have 10 minutes left. I know you don't have a hard cutoff at 7, but we're not going to go too late. But I do want to talk about one additional thing here. Actually, I'm gonna funnel this down to 2 because I know I said I had 4. I can't remember what one of them was. So, that's right. I remember what it was now. Well, fuck. How do I cram this all into 10 minutes? Okay, I'm gonna start off. We're gonna move from Twitter. We're gonna go to a hobby thing first before I go to the other big topic. All right. So, I gotta say, Games Workshop and their prices. I have been very against their prices for quite some time and their constant raising of prices and everything. And I am still very against it. And I think if you want to get anyone into a hobby, you need to have a better way to market it than start with this Infernus, the Start Collecting box for 10th edition, which is the 3 different versions, just like 9th edition. But the starter one is 3 Infernus Marines and a couple of Hormagaunts, some paints and clippers and such. And that's it. 3 Infernus Marines. You can't even play with those. The minimum squad's 5. Why is there only 3? Put 5 in the box. Oh, the fuck. So that makes me angry. And it's still $40 for 3 Infernus and 5 Gaunts, which one could argue, yeah, that's cheaper than if you were to buy them. But my guy, you can't buy 3 Infernus Marines. You can only buy them in packs of 5.
You're forced to get 2 of them.
Yeah, you have to get 2 of them. And guess what? You can't buy just 2. You either buy another beginner collecting box with another 3. So guess what? You've got 6 now. So one of them is always going to be left off to the side, and it's just annoying. But that's all besides the point. But anyways, so I've always been against their prices and the stuff they're doing and whatnot. And just like Twitter, I can complain, but guess what? I bought a kill rig, so fuck me, right? And yes, I bought the 3D printer and everything. We got that, and I've been using the 3D printer. It's been wonderful. We made Gabriel Angelos with it. Fantastic. But it wasn't until I was working on Gabriel Angelos that I realized something fundamental. And you know what? Games Workshop has me by the balls. Because do you know what Games Workshop models have that resin printers don't have?
Being able to be glued by plastic glue.
That's part of it. It's sort of there.
It's basically the functionality, the mold.
Bingo.
It's able to actually go together and look good together.
Basically there. Games Workshop plastic models can be very easily worked with. Resin cannot.
Yep.
That's what I noticed with Gabriel Angelos. So, for a little bit of a background, Gabriel Angelos is the chapter master of the Blood Ravens, and that's the army that I'm painting. He used to have an official resin model by Forge World, but it never looked good, and now they've removed it for Forge World, so even if I wanted to buy it, I can't. It was also $250 for one fucking model. Fuck that. Yeah. Gross indeed. And it was made of the same material as this.
Failcast.
Yeah. Horrendous. But they removed it. But I found a free version that looks better, is in a better pose, has a much better face, and I got it for free from a very sketchy Russian website with had me download a lot of weird files. Didn't like that, but I got it.
Hi, Russia.
Yeah, hi Russia. Thank you. Thank you for the chapter master model. Appreciate it. Don't make me do that sketchy shit just to get an STL file. God damn it. Anyways, it was fine. I got it. I checked. There's no viruses or anything. We're good. It's fucking Putin's not be like, this man likes chapter master. No, that's not happening. So I imported it into the 3D printer, and the 3D printer, it's good, but it's not like the top line. So if you make something too small, it just refuses to print it because it can't print it at all. And that happened with its head. It could print all the other pieces at the size it's supposed to, but it would not print Gabriel Angelos' head unless I scaled it up. I had to scale it up by 25% before it said, I'll print it at that size. Which is why, like I mentioned before, when you're like, he looks a lot bigger than he's supposed to be. That's because he is. He's not. He's 25% bigger than he's supposed to be because the printer refused to print the head at that size. I could have printed everything else and just increased the size of the head, but his head, his head would have been massive on that body. So, but anyways, printed it off at 25%, printed the whole thing, and then washed it and cleared it and everything. And then I started working on it. And a couple of the pieces, I was like, yeah, this kind of works. But I started working on it the same way I work on other models, where I would like take my hobby knife and I would file down pieces so they could fit better. Resin doesn't do that. The moment you start scraping on resin, it immediately brittles and deteriorates into dust the moment you put a knife to it. It's incredibly hard, incredibly difficult, and you're like, and then the moment it goes through, it immediately turns to powder the moment it is not a hardened resin anymore.
Oh no.
And resin in powder form is very bad on your lungs. So I was wearing a mask and everything because I knew it would make a little bit of powder. I was assuming the same kind of powder like when you file off plastic nubs from that. No, because plastic nubs at least go and the nub comes off nice and easy. If you scrape through it, it's good. Resin doesn't do that. Resin just turns to powder and dust everywhere. It doesn't shave easily, or it just turns into shavings. And it's very hard to even get to that point. And it was after doing this for a couple of minutes that I was like, now I know why Games Workshop charges the prices that they do. And you know what? Yes, 3D printing's on the rise. Yes, I love 3D printers, and I love the way they're able to do this. That Gabriel Angelos model cost me $2 in resin instead of $250 from Forge World. Happy about that. However, if that Forge World model was in plastic, the amount of conversions you could make with that, with Games Workshop plastic, would be immense, because Games Workshop plastic is incredible to work with. It cuts very seamlessly. It's very easy to mold around. You can add green stuff to it. The plastic glue, you hold it together, and after like a couple of seconds, it's already affixed. That one I had to use super glue, and I had to hold that shit clamped together for 20 minutes before there was even a sense of it being held together well. So it was after building that Gabriel Angelos model, and that's why I told you, I was like, if he breaks, I'm not repairing him. Fuck it, that was too much of a pain for an 8-piece model, and I was so angry with that. But it's done. But if it breaks, I'm not building it again. That was bullshit. So, I will say, I still don't like the prices that Games Workshop charges for their models, but now that I've worked with other types of material for model building, and it's way better than like the WizKids minis. WizKid minis, I don't know what that plastic is, but it's horrendous. That shit warps under 30-degree weather. Some of those models have been standing on that shelf. I have a stone giant. He's leaning over. His nose is touching the ground because his thin little fucking shins are so tiny that the moment they started to heat up with the hot summer weather, they just turned to fucking liquid, and the stone giant just, and his fucking back legs are molded over. So the only way to fix that is you run him under hot water, you bend him back into place you want him, and you immediately put him in the fridge or the freezer, and then it colds the model in place. It's and that's why they always have bendy swords, is because the plastic's so thin that it just warps. So, and WizKids models are stupidly pricey for what they want as well. That's why I made all those Dragon Army soldiers, is because a pack of 5 Dragon Army soldiers was like $68. And I was like, for 5 plastic models, these are WizKids minis. They're flimsy plastic. It's not even GW plastic, and you're charging me $68 for 5 models? You're off your fucking rocker. Like, I got 5 Sanguinary Guard for $45. What? WizKids outpriced them.
You didn't know how bad they were.
That's true. Sanguinary Guard are old cast stuff. Well, not old cast, but they're older models. So they were a little bit of a pain.
We had fun with those, didn't we?
We sure did. I hate that I built 10 of them. But even though 10, but the first 5 I built.
And you want 20 more.
I mean, If they come with Primaris versions, absolutely. But right now, the rules kind of suck, so I might just stick with 10 for some now. But even though, like, even with that, the first 5 I built pretty much as is. I made a couple of liberties. There's one dude who's holding the sword backwards because I just didn't... Excuse me. But I didn't want them like two-handing weapons, so I kind of molded that around. But then the second one, man, I went to town on those guys. I cut hands off. I rotated things as like they're holding it. I got one guy who's got the sword to the ground. He's pointing his gun out in a very, very cool way. A dude's got an axe behind his back with the gun point. I went to town on the second thing. I had fun building the second box because I knew what to expect, and because they're not monopose, I had way more freedom to really mold them how I wanted. And some of the models in that second box, like I really, really enjoyed the guy who's got the giant axe holding way down behind him and a gun pointed, and he's leaning heavily forward. It's like, he just looks sick as fuck. Yeah, he looks... Exactly.
He's there for the uppercut.
Exactly. He looks dope as fuck, and I'm so happy with how he turned out.
I'm gonna go find him now.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. I like him a lot. But it's like stuff like that. It's like if you could do that with monopose, but it would take way more work. So there is something to be said about those older models. Like, yes, they were a pain to build because there were so many parts to them and they weren't monopose. But after I got through the first box and got to the second box, I was like, you know what? I don't want to build these exactly the same because I know I'm going to run them in a squad of 10. So I want each one of them to look somewhat different than the other, even if they're in the same poses. So I went to town with them, and I was like, you know what? These guys look sick. These guys look dope. I'm happy with these. So anyways, I just wanted to say, Games Workshop prices, don't like them. But I do have a better appreciation for their plastic now that I've worked with resin a lot. I love that resin printer. It's fantastic. It's way cheaper. But I'm probably still going to buy some GW models, especially if I plan on converting them or doing something extra with them, because, man, is it way easier to work with them than resin. So, but for solid units, if I can find a good enough equivalent or something like that's really dope that I like to proxy, I'll probably just 3D print them. But who knows?
Guess I'll have to print some more assault intercessors.
Nope. I have 40. I don't need any more. I don't need any more assault intercessors. God. I love them. I think they look dope as fuck. I don't need any more. There's so many. So, also, hey, Breach, yo, sorry I haven't been around lately. I have a lot of family stuff going on. That's okay. We haven't streamed in 48 days, so we haven't been around either. We walked out on you just like you walked out on us. It's fine.
I mean, neither of us have been streaming a whole lot either. I see you had the one a couple days ago. But...
Yes, I streamed 3 days ago when I was like, I'm going to do the whole Strike Force box.
And then you were like, oh, shit.
Nope. Definitely not what happened. I think I built 2 models in 4.5 hours, and I realized there is no possible chance in hell I am going to either have the time or the energy to build this whole box in one stream. Not a fucking chance. So I was just like... And also, oh, man, I have been really going back and forth on my feelings on this. And I know it's caused some tension within myself and probably you and I as well. Because initially when I set out, I was like, we need to be live every day, either both you and I or one of us at the same time doing these streams, either building and or painting every day for this kind of thing. And that hasn't happened. And I'm very much to blame for that. And I'm fully aware of that. Because I struggle all the time with... From my standpoint, I'm looking at everything I do with my own standpoint, but also from a viewer's perspective.
Yep.
And every time I look at something with a viewer's perspective, especially with these live streams, I'm like, why the fuck would anyone watch this? I'm sitting here scraping, cutting, doing stuff. There's nothing entertaining going on. There's just casual lo-fi music playing in the background and me interacting with people who are either in chat or are not in chat. And I'm just pretending there's people in chat because that's how I get through this kind of thing. And I'm just... pretending. And it's like, I make a dope ass thumbnail because that's the cover of the book. You need to see something cool that you want to click on it. I click on it, and then you're just watching. How you guys doing?
I feel like you just need to get like face paint and stuff.
Yeah, just wear insane clown posse stuff and people come in like
no, just like, you know, like casual like chaos star, you know.
Oh yeah make myself actually look like the thumbnails IRL.
You just
Bingo.
take the picture that's there it is.
Every single thumbnail where I put like dark heavy bags under my eyes, like, you know what, let's just fucking start going at this. Or just not sleep for 2 days. It's like, Pringo, I don't even need to...
I'm ready for it.
I don't even need to edit the photos anymore. I can just click, boom, perfect. Don't even need to edit them. But yeah, so that's been the longest struggle for me. Is like I set out and I was like, this would be a brilliant idea because there's tons of people who do building streams and painting streams all the time. So clearly there's an audience for it. I mean, there's an audience for everything. But then I always kind of think to myself, I'm like, I'm not one of those people. I haven't built a career off of building and painting. So people don't know me for that. And then trying to do all this kind of stuff for charity. And that's the worst part, is for charity. So I feel obligated for that even more so. But it's like, at the end of the day, is it entertaining to watch? If not, why are we watching it? And the thing that I come back to is like, well, at least it's something for the background. But that was the whole reason I quit streaming a couple months ago and I took a break, because I didn't want to stream just for background noise. I wanted to stream for events. I wanted streams to be entertaining and for a reason to watch and be like, if I don't watch this, I am missing out on something. I wanted them to be more than just, he's playing Sea of Thieves, he's playing Hollow Knight, he's playing God of War. And that's why I initially took that break from streaming, because I was like, I wanted there to be events. And then I came back to it and I told you about how I was like, you know what? No, I think it's okay for it to be background noise for some people, because some people just want that.
Yeah.
But I never put on a stream for background noise. Ever. It's not what I do for a viewer. I don't ever watch live streams very often, ever. You know how I watch live streams? I watch the highlights of the live streams that are uploaded to YouTube afterwards, after they're well edited and everything. So I'm kind of a hypocrite, where I am consider myself a YouTuber and a streamer, but I don't even watch streams. I watch lots of YouTube videos, but I don't watch streams, because if there's nothing happening on the stream, I have no reason to watch it. I could be doing anything else. I could be watching a video that's been edited to have stuff going on, or I could be doing something of my own accord.
Yeah,
so,
I gotcha.
But yeah, so that's why I've kind of been like slowing down. Even before we turned on the podcast, I was like, I don't know if I want to stream painting every single one of those models. Maybe just the big important models, because at least it's like you could see a big cool thing being done instead of the 27th Assault Squad Marine again in the same color scheme again, kind of thing. So that's where I'm at with that, and that's where I'm kind of like, I know I'm behind. I know I'm slipping. I know I'm not doing daily streams because
I'm worse.
Well, that's true. But you don't have that problem of looking at everything as like, I need to make this entertaining. I need this to be worthwhile. I need there to be a reason for people to click in. I need to make sure the thumbnail's good, because you don't even have thumbnails.
The only thing that matters for me is like, do I have the energy to do it, or the time? And that's the thing I've been lacking lately, is because with taking care of my parents' place, every time that I would be, wanting to stream, I'm over there watering all the plants and stuff. So it's like, that just kind of takes a chunk of my day that it's just like, well, that'd be when I'd be streaming.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
And see, and that makes perfect sense. I don't have that luxury. I'm here all the time. I'm either here or I'm at flight lessons. I don't have an excuse. I don't have a reason to not be streaming. My reasoning is, I'm just building the same fucking plastic dudes again. This isn't entertaining. This isn't fun to watch. This is just going to be the same old thing of the last 20 streams are.
Speaking of, he'll be building the Storm Speeder.
Yes. Well, tomorrow I'm going to be building the final model for my army. It's the last building stream, and then all the streams after that will be painting streams. It is the last building stream. Any model I buy after this is not part of this endeavor anymore. So, but anyways, Hell's Breach says...
Not true. Because every $100,
right,
get fucked.
Okay, fuck you. That's different. Hellsbreach says, make it so people can donate to choose paint colors, themes, and palettes. See, and he says, I'd throw $10 in to get a pink ultramarine. See, here's the thing. Surface level, that sounds great. That sounds fantastic. Immediate problem. I can't use it in my army. Well, I can, but it will look awful. And that's the big problem. If I had an ungodly amount of extra models just lying around, not ever going to be used, I'd be totally down for it. I'd say, fuck it, I'm never going to use these models. Let's paint them in weird, wacky color schemes, and then give them away or something like that. I'd be totally down for that. But every model I have, I'm going to use, and I want it to be Bloodraven. I want it to feel like it fits in with the army. I don't want what I currently have, where I have Night Lords and then Marketplace Alpha Legions, and they just kind of and Black Legion. We're still like, what the fuck's happening here? So, because eventually I'm going to repaint all of them, and they're all just going to be Night Lords, and then the ones that aren't Night Lords are going to become World Leaders, and they're just going to go over to that side, and eventually that will happen. But I don't want to have to do that with my Space Marines. All my Space Marines are unpainted, so I have a perfect blank palette to make them all Blood Ravens. So on surface level, Breach, that is a fantastic idea, but I don't have the expendable income to buy extra models to do that for. If I did 100%, that would be fun. And I did that once, actually. I did that once way back, many years ago, like fucking 2017, we built one Chaos Space Marine model. He was base coat black, and he had green trim and some gold underlying, and he was named Jim Bob Honeypants. And he had JB on one shoulder pad and HP on the other shoulder pad for Jim Bob Honeypants. So I did that once with a couple of people. So I believe he's still on that shelf as Jim Bob Honeypants. So... But yeah, so I did that once, but eventually he will also be repainted into a Night Lord. So I may
you'll have to sneak in the
JB. I may take the scalpel knife and just like scratch in JB-HP somewhere on there, just to the remembrance of Jimmy Bob Honeypants.
The One Piece is real.
The One Piece is real. So anyway, so that's what's going on with the live streams right now. Is like I still want to keep doing this because at the end of the day, I have way more models to play with now, even unpainted. I can still play with them. So it's like there is still something happening for it, but sadly, it's only for me. We raised $130 for charity, which is great. Any money for charity is fantastic. The goal's 1,000. I shouldn't have put it that high. I feel really bad every time I look at that, and it's like we have all this that we haven't achieved, and we've achieved this much.
To be
like,
fair, I haven't put in the stuff that I've done at this particular moment.
How do you mean?
I've finished about at least 14 models now.
Oh, that are fully, like, completely done?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
the reanimator and all that. I just haven't got to a point where I'm, like...
Donating.
Okay. Put it in.
That's fine. I didn't expect you to do it until the very, very end. Because that was the kind of thing. Because that's why I was doing all the building stuff. And then now, once all the building stuff, I was going to put an overlay on the stream. It was like, models to go, models completed. And then the models completed could also equal, like, dollars I will donate. So, and then you could be like, this is how much is donated, this is how much will get donated currently, and then that number always ticks up after every model that's painted. That's the way I was going to do it. So
fair enough. I'm kind of in a weird spot where I'm painting and building, painting and building.
That's true. Yeah. I won't be doing. I have the one model left, and then it will just be painting until, in the event we do reach 200 and then 300, 400, and then we add more models from there.
Oh no, you have to go buy an Angron.
Oh, I would fucking love to. Listen. That World Eaters army needs combat patrol because it needs 8-bound. It needs jackals. It needs crazy dude on fucking Doggo, whatever his name is, can't remember, but it needs that guy.
Pressure.
Yeah, it needs that dude. It needs Exalted 8-bound. It's got a Mauler Fiend. It needs new Berserkers because, man, those Berserkers are so old. They're so old. Even Mike asked me when Mike was learning to play, and I was playing with the Beastnaga boys, and he was playing with the World Eaters. When he was putting the World Eaters back on the shelf, he was like, why do these models look so bad compared to the other ones over here? And I was like, because these models were built in the 1990s. These came out 2 years ago. And he's like, okay. And I told him, I was like, there are new Berserkers that look way better than this. I don't have them. So, but
and he enjoyed it, right?
He loved it. He had a blast with it. We played 3 games.
Oh.
Just 3, like, back and forth, one-on-one kind of things. But we did it very, very simple. We had 3 objectives, 1 in the middle, 1 on either side. At the end of the battle round, if you held your own objective, you got 1 point. If you held the objective in the middle, you got 2. If you held the objective in the opponents, you got 3.
Yep.
And then if you tabled the other opponent, you also got victory. We were playing Beastnagas versus World Eaters. How do you think every game went?
World Eaters slapped.
World Eaters did slap, indeed, but every game we met in the middle and just killed each other. There was never any scoring actual objective points or anything. But,
that sounds about right.
Yeah, but I will say I handicapped my Beastnagas a bit.
Oh, did you?
Because he had plasma pistols. He had 2 plasma pistols, and that was it for his shooting. So unless I was in 12 inches range, he couldn't shoot me. I had thump guns, I had shooters, I had blasters, I had all kinds of guns. So every turn, I was shooting him with something, and the thump gun had blast. So I was already weaning out his stuff by the time I even got there. So after the first game, I stopped using my shooters, and I only used the thump gun. So I was just because I felt bad coming in, and he only had like 3 dudes. But then Karn would throw his 8 dice out and just fucking murk everything. But we also weren't using invulnerable saves or anything like that. We were with like no stratagems, no invulnerable saves, no special ability rules or anything like that. None of that. It was just top left rules.
I know not why I'm here. All I know is I must kill.
Yes, exactly. So just to get the basic core of it done. At the very end of the game, it was a fight against Karn and the Beastnaga boss, and everything else had died. And it was at that point when the Beastnaga boss was about to kill Karn, and that's when I told him, so by the way, your save is technically right now a 6, so you need 6 ups. But Karn has an invulnerable save, and I taught him about invulnerable saves, and then invulnerable save saved his ass. And then Karn slapped back and fucking murdered the Beastnaga boss. So Mike won all 3 games, but there was no special rules.
Yeah.
I handicapped with the guns I was shooting after the first turn because I was like, well, I don't want to get into melee, and then he's only got 2 dudes left. That's just not gonna feel good. So
Yeah, no, that's fair.
but yeah, the core rules about it, he enjoyed. I asked him if he wanted to try anything else. He was like, nope, I love these world leaders. This is what I want to do. And I told him there's a combat patrol box where you can get like a bunch more of the updated berserkers and a couple other units and everything. And he said he will probably buy that. And I said, it's going to be a little expensive because Games Workshop sells their models. And he asked me, he was like, well, how much is like for a squad of 10 dudes? And I was like, it can kind of depend, but usually it's between $40 to $50 for a squad of 10 dudes, depending on what army you're buying for and
he was
what
like,
they
fuck
are.
no.
No, actually, he said that's not bad. He thought it would be more.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that I was like,
I guess he's heard us bitch about it enough.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, so he was like, oh, okay, well that's not bad. That kind of makes sense. And I was like, damn, that's not the reaction I thought you'd have. And he was like, nah, I guess it makes sense. So he was totally
We might
down
have
for
a
it.
World Eaters player on
Yeah.
our hands.
Well,
Who knows?
Well, because I told him as well, I'd probably someday I'd be buying Combat Patrol for World Leaders and getting a lot more models because I do want a full World Leaders army. And I asked him if he wanted to look online and see if there's any models he wanted to play with, and then I could maybe see if I can get those. And he said there probably is, but if he wants to play World Leaders, he's going to buy his own models so he can paint them and build them how he wants. And then he won't worry about buying any books or rules since I already have them. He'll just bring his models over. He said he wants to build his own models and paint his own models.
You know what?
And that was that. He didn't want to worry about the dice or the rule books or anything like that. He just, if I could use mine own.
Don't worry, we'll get him later, boys.
Yeah, maybe we'll get him onto that later. But that was the only thing. He was like, I just don't want to bother with books and rule books and learning all that kind of stuff. And I was like, that's fine. I already have all the index cards and everything here. So he was like, if I could just buy the models and the paints and just do it my own way, cool. I'll just do that, and then I'll just use your guys' stuff when you come over because I'm only going to be playing here. I was like, cool, works for me. So someday he'll probably buy his own Zerkers and come on over and
Be hot pink.
yeah, they'll be hot pink. I'd be like, damn, those look like some Emperor's Children, my man. So, but yeah, no, he enjoyed it. He seemed to have a good time with it. I don't know how. Oh, Dalton just texted me on Facebook saying, "Fuck you, I like my Facebook memes." Thanks, Dalton.
Nice.
Oh, he also before that sent a photo. I don't know what it is, but he sent a photo and then fuck you, I like my Facebook memes. All right. That's chill. That's cool. You enjoy your Facebook memes. I'm sorry, Dalton.
Get absolutely destroyed.
Yeah. All right. So, I have 2 topics left that I'd like to talk about. One maybe a little bit longer than the other. One is a very short kind of throwback only because you brought something up about it.
That one first.
Okay. So, you and I are both not working right now.
Yeah.
You got laid off. I went on a leave of absence.
Yeah.
We both have some time to ourselves. So, I wanted to bring up something that we talked about on a podcast many times ago. Don't know how long ago, but a long time ago.
Right.
The want to know life a game again. But we couldn't because we didn't have the time for it. We didn't have the energy for it. We were too busy with other things. Both of us don't have that problem anymore. And I would argue you have no life to game again. You don't think so? You don't consider that no life in a game?
Maybe not. I don't know.
Well, okay. What would you say is the
definition
deciding
of a no life?
Yeah, the defining factor between no lifing a game and just playing a game a lot.
No lifing it would be waking up, starting it, and not shutting it off until you go to bed. Essentially.
You don't think you've ever did that?
No.
In the most recent days with the...
No.
No? Really? Okay.
No. I've only played it like...
excusing driving to ask you to work.
Yeah. No. There's been times where I usually go for a couple of hours and then I turn it off and either eat, watch something, and maybe just watch YouTube for a couple of hours or something and then just go back to it later.
Oh, okay. Well,
but I have been playing a lot of Monster Sanctuary, yes.
Yes. Well, you've even finished it now.
I finished one run. I'm now
thinking...
because it actually has, like... You know how with Pokemon, it has, like, Nuzlocke randomizers are all, like, modded things? This has stuff like that just built in.
Oh, okay.
So there's a randomizer built in. There's a speedrunning timer built right in. There is a Nuzlocke mode built in, and there's also like a challenge mode. So it gives you like a random 3 eggs, and then you aren't able to get eggs by any other means other than chests that are near the entrance to new areas, and that's it.
Okay.
So you just have to build a team from that, and that's what I'm gonna do when I go home.
That's your plan for tonight?
That's my plan for tonight.
Nice. Okay. So if that's the case, then when would be the last time you would have considered yourself no-lifing a game? Then.
Monkey. That's a good fucking question. I think it was when I was really into Eve. I think that was...
You would call that no-lifing Eve?
Yeah, I was definitely like on that like every chance I got. And also when we were playing Ark. Ark was up there.
That's true.
Every time we've gone back to Ark, we played it religiously for like 3 months or like a month, and then it just dies.
Yeah.
So we no-life it for that 1 month, and then it's just done.
Yeah. Well, honestly, though, I will say there have been several reasons when, like, the 3 of us were playing Ark, and we'd get to a stopping point, and then we'd never play it again. Mm-hmm. But there was always... There was a couple things that would be the same things we'd stop, but there was a couple different times where the reason we'd stop would be something out of our control. Like, I remember one time we stopped playing because we hit some weird level cap that we couldn't fix, and we just, like... We max leveled at like 63 or something, and then it would just refuse to level us past that or something. So something fucked with that. And then another version, we had so many mods going on at one point in a different map that we just got to a point where, like, we came up with the idea we wanted to build the from the steampunk mod or something. And like that was the ultimate end goal. And I was like, all right, sounds good. Just
massive undertaking.
We had no idea. We looked at it and we were like, okay, this is what we want to build. This is going to be the end goal. And then we realized just the amount of material necessary to build even a portion of it. And it was just like we saw a brick wall and we're like, fuck it, not doing it, and we stopped playing there.
I do remember that.
Yeah, or even stuff like there was another version we got totally up to max level or close to max level. I don't think we ever got to max level in any of them, but we got very, very high level, and we started facing bosses and such, and we got our asses slapped by bosses, even though we had like tons of T-Rexes and Indominus Rexes, and we were like, we had fucking everything ready to go, and then we got our asses fucking slapped. It was like, what the fuck? I think that was a case
of someone was like, oh yeah, we're definitely ready.
Okay, well, that wasn't just me. There was a couple of times where we were like, we had indomitable Rexes.
The first one was you.
Okay, just the first one.
The first one was you.
The first one. But there was times where it was you, me, and Dalton, and we had just untold God knows how many, like, wolves and Rexes and raptors and all kinds of shit, and we went in to fight a gorilla, and we got our asses handed to us. And it was like, the amount of work it would have to be to tame and raise and breed all of that over again. It was like, fuck that. Like, it was just so much work to get handed nothing. And this is the reason I stopped playing Valheim, because I had got max level to everything. I had the best gear, I had the best meads, I had the best weapons I could possibly get, and I needed, the only way to progress Valheim was to go to the swamp area. I couldn't go anywhere else. I needed to go to the swamp area in order to progress Valheim. I went to the swamp area with max gear across the board and potions, and I insta-died. I walked in, I got fucking ganked from all directions. I died within 1 minute after traveling for over half an hour to get to the swamp, and I spawned back at the base, and I said, fuck it, I'm done. I'm not going to bother trying to rescue my stuff because I will insta-die faster than I already did just trying to get to where my body is, and I'm not going to bother trying to max level all this stuff, and I haven't touched Valheim since because I was like, fuck that. And it was the same thing with Ark. I was just like, you did all this work, all this point to get to this one point. It'd be different if you could save right before that and then just retry, or at least not have to start from scratch, but you couldn't.
We technically could.
How?
Because we were playing on our own server. We just roll back the server.
Okay, yes, there was that option. I don't know why we never did that then. Who knows? But anyways, it was just one of those kind of things where it was like, yeah.
And then there was me trying to breed Rexes and shit for mutations that I never got.
Nope. Never got one mutation.
And all the fucking bullshit. Trying to get breeding fucking Rexes and trying to keep track of everything was way too fucking difficult for my pea brain. I still had the document. And know what the funny thing is? All it was labeled on the title of is just breeding. That's it. That's all it was. And Ashley was just like, "What the fuck is this?" And I was like, "Well, do I have a story for you?"
Just going through your computer, like, what even document just labeled breeding? Excuse me?
Yep.
So.
And then we had all the names of the stupid names we gave the fucking Rexes, like Chunky.
Our very first dinosaur ever, Booper.
Mm-hmm.
Long may he reign. And we all has like Booper V2, Booper V3.
Booperer.
Yeah, Booperer and such. Good times. Mm-hmm. Also, Lord Ghost Guy says, "Hey man, you can make a portal in Valheim." Yes, I know, but guess what? I would still have to get over there and make the portal before dying. Fuck that. Mm-hmm. So no. Cool. All right. Out of the 4 topics, I think I've discussed 3 of them. Mm-hmm. That was, we discussed X, we discussed no lifing. What was the third one?
GW plastic.
Yes, GW plastic. All right, I have one final topic for today that I'd like to discuss.
Here we go.
This one's fun. This one's interesting. So Jackson, do you believe that the Earth is flat?
No.
Okay. Do you believe that the Bermuda Triangle is the reason for a lot of strange disappearances for both boats and planes?
I will acknowledge the fact that it has happened in that area, but it may not be the sole reason for it.
Okay. Do you believe the Egyptian pyramids were built by aliens?
No.
Okay. Do you believe 9/11 was an inside job?
Probably not.
Okay. And lastly, do you believe there was more than one shooter at the assassination of JF Kennedy?
Don't know enough about it.
Okay. Do you know what the topic is?
It's conspiracies.
Conspiracy theories.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know your actual opinion on conspiracy theories.
Okay.
I think I have an idea of what your answer might be, but I don't know for certain. And this kind of came to mind because we've been talking about a couple...
Get your tinfoil hats,
Yeah, get your
boys.
tinfoil hats ready. So here's the thing, because we've been kind of talking about conspiracy theories here and there, just either in on-stream per painting and building streams, like we talked about the cicada incident and such, and what have you.
That's more of an event.
Yes, but there.
Event.
Yeah, okay. but there's a lot of conspiracy theories surrounding like who Cicada was, what their goal was, and everything, and all that stuff, because it was never ever solved and whatnot. Yeah. And then also briefly brought up, like, I can't remember where it was, but some rural town in America where it's just, if you go to that one radio station, it was nothing but static until a certain time, and then it was just a random lady going 17, 4, 12, 81, and then it would go back to static. So I just wanted to, like, you know what, we've been talking about conspiracy theories a lot. I wanted to get your opinion on conspiracy theories. Are there any conspiracy theories that you think are actually true, or do you think that anytime there's a conspiracy theory, it's just kind of like, it's just for someone to actually feel like talking about something that means nothing?
It's a little column A, a little bit column B, honestly. Okay. Like, I will give that for a lot of things, anything is possible. Okay. But the likelihood of those things actually being true is negligible at best, and the evidence for it is circumstantial.
Okay.
So it's really like the things that are saying for it aren't necessarily enough to outweigh it being not it.
Okay.
If that makes sense for a lot of it.
Is there any conspiracy theories then where you think the evidence for it is pretty good and you actually may see yourself leaning that way?
None that I have off the top of my head, no.
Okay.
Like, I'm not a huge conspiracy nut, so it's like I don't really go out and seek it.
That's fair.
Maybe I should, but
I used to be, and I would say my opinion on conspiracy theories has changed quite drastically, just in the past year alone. I used to really love conspiracy theories, and I would say I still do, but I used to love conspiracy theories because I loved the idea of there being something more to just the simple answer an event. I like the idea that there was more going on behind the scenes because it made things more interesting and more crazy to be in the know about and be able to talk about something and know more than the other person. But now, especially when I look back on a lot of conspiracy theories that I used to have a lot of fondness for and really thinking about it, I've come to really ascertain that the most likely answer is, and the most simplest answer, is probably the answer.
Yep.
And as sad as that is, and it's kind of like wind out of the sails, and as boring as that is, the world's boring. And that's just kind of the way it is.
You have to make it interesting for yourself, you know? And that's that's what conspiracy theories are for, really.
But there are some conspiracy theories that people, like, 100% are like, this is the actual factual truth, and there is nothing...
Flat Earth.
Yeah, like Flat Earth is one of the big ones.
I'm personally a velociraptor-shaped Earth.
Okay, sure, whatever you say, boss. But it's just one of those things. Like, there are so many things out there. Like, I used to believe heavily in the Bermuda Triangle. I used to, that was probably one of my favorite conspiracy theories. That I was like, it was such a cool thing. And like Atlantis exists out there and it's probably under the Bermuda Triangle. And that's why the old tech and all that old energy is just funneled down there and is causing all kinds of shit. But then when you really think about it and you look at like the wider picture, it's like, do you know how big the Bermuda Triangle really is?
It is quite large.
It's massive. Do you know how many ships and planes pass through the Bermuda Triangle on the daily? Hundreds.
Minimum.
Without a single speck of newsworthy stuff happening. Do you know how many planes fall out of the sky or disappear at random, or boats just go missing and sink without a fraction of evidence all over the globe?
Very few.
Very few, but no more than happened in the Bermuda Triangle. The reason the Bermuda Triangle became so popular, because it was a short amount of time between the disappearances that happened, because there was so little time between all of them. But if you were to take like the amount of disappearances that happened in the Bermuda Triangle and the amount of disappearances that happen globally, there's way more that happened globally over the oceans than ever happened in the Bermuda Triangle. It's only because those couple of ones happened in such a short succession of each other that like the first one was somewhat news. The second one, wow, that happened really quick. The other one, the third one, oh, there's actually something here because it's all happening in the same area. Fourth one, whoa, this is something big, and then nothing ever again. But it was like, if that happened, if it was one in the Bermuda Triangle, one in the Pacific Ocean, one in the Atlantic Ocean, with that short succession, nobody would have given a fucking shit. It was all because it was self-contained in that one.
Oh, so sad.
Yeah. It was also because of that small contained area that everyone just went, there's something here, there's a conspiracy, and everyone lost their minds about it. So, so you wouldn't say there's any conspiracy theories out there right now that you would be like, you know what? I think this could be true. Not like I believe it's true, but like, you know what? I think it could be true.
I don't really know much about the rank and file, essentially, so...
Okay.
No, I would say there's none that I would consider that way, but I honestly am not entirely sure. I'm not really prepared to answer that question, I suppose.
Fair enough. Are there any that you want to know more about and just haven't learned more about or anything?
Not really.
Even secret societies, any of that fun jazz?
If you're trying to manipulate me, and you're doing a good job, keep it up. Like, obviously, like stuff like that. It's like, if I knew about it, cool. If I don't give a shit.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, my stance on a lot of conspiracies is don't know enough to care.
Gotcha.
And don't care enough to go look for it.
So, would you even say that you find them interesting at all to listen to, or just kind of like, it's whatever, it's noise?
I mean, I'll listen to them, but I won't like actively go looking for them.
You have no personal interest in learning more about it? Or
not
anything?
really, no.
Not even to like believe it, but just to learn more about it in itself. You're still kind of like, meh.
I would need something to like push me towards it, like
to really be gripping about it.
Yeah, like I know the Adeptus Ridiculous did the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, that's right. They did
one of their Detective Ridiculous,
yep.
And I see it. I know it's there. I'll probably, if I'm bored or if I'm driving somewhere, I'll listen to it. But that's because I already know these guys and I know that they do good work. They make it interesting as well.
But the topic itself, you're like,
I will go to the Warhammer ones before I would go to the Detective Ridiculous ones.
Fair enough.
Even though DK does do a lot of good work with them.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair enough.
I'm also just a huge Bricky simp, so there's that.
That's also true. I mean, Bricky's part of Detective Ridiculous. I think the funnest thing for me for watching Detective Ridiculous is seeing Bricky on the heels of him reacting to stuff. Because a sad thing for me is because, like, here's the thing. I don't think there's a single conspiracy theory anymore that I'm on the side for. I think every conspiracy theory that I ever listen to, I'm like, I love this. This is really interesting. I love the rabbit hole this is going down, but I'm fully in the aware. Probably not true, but I like I like the story. I like the narrative.
Like the illusion.
I like the narrative. I like learning about something.
The illusion of choice.
Yes. I don't know. It's fun for me. And like when they started doing Detective Ridiculous, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. The sad thing for me is outside of like 2 Detective Ridiculous videos they've done, I know everything. So when I watch the videos, like, oh yeah, I know where this is going. I know this point and such. And it's like, but it's fun for me watching Bricky respond to all these in a way because he doesn't know any of it. He doesn't do any of that stuff. Or if he does, he just doesn't react that he does or anything. So I find those kind of fun. But there's a couple times where I'm like, I feel bad watching this video because I'm not learning anything. I know about all this, but it's kind of it's kind of interesting. So, okay, there's only one. There's one conspiracy theory that I can't remember the details about. I remember hearing about it once, and I don't even know what the conspiracy theory is called or anything like that. Maybe Chad can help me out here. But there's a conspiracy theory where there's some park. It has to do with owls, and there's a big statue of an owl in this park. And every year or every couple of years, like some of the most wealthy world leaders convey, or maybe it's just leaders of America, can't remember, convey at this park, and they don owl costumes, and it's like a cult gathering where they just let loose and they just don't care about world politics and wealth and everything, and they just go back to primal roots and just have a grand party at this camp with an owl or something. I can't remember anything else about it, but I was like, that sounds wild. But there's apparently photo evidence about it as well. I was like, I would love to find out more about this, but I don't know what it's called. And every time I've searched for like Owl Park or anything, I get nothing. So maybe someone in chat knows about this, but I have no idea. It's very much like Disney Room 86 or anything, if you know about that. There's a secret room in Disney that may or may not exist where wealthy executives are allowed to come in and meet and have like the best fine dining and everything, and it's like only for like the very, very rich and very, very popular. I think it's like Disney Clubhouse 86 or something like that. Like that, apparently the door for it, you can see the door for the club when you go to Disney parks and everything, and there's always like a butler outside of it, but unless you're like one of these high-ranking individuals, you can't get inside. So apparently it does fully exist or something. Bohemian Grove, is that what it's called? I'll have to look that up. You know what? Let's look it up right now. Let's just see if that is what he is talking about. Bohemian Grove. I would have never thought that is what it's called. Bohemian Grove. Let's see here. Bohemian Grove, restricted 2,700 acre campground in California, belonging to a private gentleman's club. Okay. Known as the Bohemian Club. In mid-July each year, Bohemian hosts a more than 2-week encampment of some of the most prominent men in the world. This sounds like what I was talking about. I don't see anything about the owl, though, unless there... Oh, nope. I was trying to find something about a big owl statue. I don't see anything about an owl statue, but... Oh, maybe that's it there. All right, the owl shrine. There it is. Yeah, the owl shrine covered in moss. Yep, so this is definitely it. Okay, thank you. Now I have something to do after the podcast. I can learn about Bohemian Grove. Hell yeah.
We're going down Wikipedia.
Let's go. All right, I'm going to leave that open so I can learn about that. Perfect. Thank you very much, Breach. You've been incredible help. Okay, so that's the only one where I'm like, I don't know enough about it, but I want to learn more about it. It just seems
you're going to learn it.
I'll learn a lot now.
You're going to learn it today, boy.
Yeah. All right, so to wrap... Oh, now live on YouTube. I know it. Wow, you are real late on that one, email. Thanks. All right, well, that's about it. So... I was kind of hoping to get a little bit more out of you in terms of conspiracy theories, but that's quite all right.
I'm boring. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I thought maybe there would be like 1 or 2 conspiracy theories that you found like really interesting, and like maybe even if you don't believe in them, you're just like, you know what, I can kind of see. Because like
I just can't think of any right now, honestly.
That's fair. Yeah, for me, like there's the occasional thing where I'm like, there are hints to it that are like I find fascinating. Like anyone's like, the Egyptian pyramids were built by aliens. There's no possible way they could have built this by hand. I'm like, okay, prove it to me. And you see like certain things they point out, and you're like, you know what? You got a good point. I like where this is going. The sad reality is they probably still figured out a way, because why would aliens build pyramids? Come on now, that just doesn't make sense.
Haven't you seen Stargate? They're landing pads for spaceships.
I haven't seen Stargate. How is a pyramid with a pointy top a landing pad for a space?
Search up a Goa'uld ship.
A what now? A Goa'uld? Yeah, you type that out. What the fuck is that? Was it just like a GW model where it has a big divot in the middle of it so we can land on the top of the pyramid?
Yep.
What the fuck?
Yep. That is completely accurate.
What the fuck? Oh. So wait, the top of the pyramid is the spaceship.
So basically,
Or does that sit over top of the point? It's like a big hollowed out cone that it just lands on top of or something.
I fucked that.
That's okay. Pyramid! Oh, the pyramid itself is the spaceship.
Basically, so this right here is on top of it.
Oh, so it's just a big casing that...
Yeah.
Wow.
You see?
Wow.
Yeah, so that's what it looked like.
Huh.
Yep.
That's wild.
The ships in this fucking series are dope.
That's... Damn.
Yeah, and there's a couple different versions, like that one.
What the fuck?
And those are the big ones, and that's the bigger one.
Jesus Christ.
And then this is like the old style version of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
New Necron monolith confirmed.
Essentially.
That's insane.
Yeah, no, there's some pretty cool shit.
All right, chat. Well, if you want to see what we're talking about, Google Images search pyramid ships Goa'uld Ulid or just Stargate pyramid ships.
Yeah.
And you'll see what we're talking about. That's crazy. That's insane.
So, yeah,
Out of all the possible methods they could have gone with building their starships, they decided, you know what? We're going to be Egyptian pyramids.
So that's a sub.
Oh, I see. Wow.
And that's how big that is.
Jesus Christ. That's insane.
Yeah.
Okay, well. I can say that's one conspiracy theory I don't fall for. I don't think that one has any bones. That one's got nothing going on there, I don't think. So, but
They
anyways.
probably couldn't hear me that entire time.
Oh,
but
that you probably
whatever.
bled through this microphone, so that's fine. So, but anyways, so yeah. Yes. Every conspiracy theory has like this small little aspect of it that I find interesting. Like even the cicada one is like it's very cool. They were very intelligent people, clearly. But the sad thing is probably just
Dudes have too much time on their
dudes
hands.
have too much time on their hands, or like thinking, you know what, we actually want to do this, and then once they went through with their whole plan and everything, they realized, you know what, it's a lot of work, and just kind of quietly fade into the distance or anything. It's not like some big global secret intelligence thing, because like as cool as that sounds, you have to think of all the possible hoops to jump through for it to actually be that. And like at the end of the day, people are lazy. It's not going to be that hard. And like even the one today, I really went down. It's like, because I always knew about the weird conspiracy between like there was 2 shooters at the JFK assassination, not just one shooter. And it was this big elaborate thing. And it's like I always knew there was a kind of conspiracy theory, but I never really delved into like why or anything. But then today, while I was building the Blade Guard, I was like, you know what? Let's look into this. And it's like the amount of hoops and everything that conspiracy theorists had to jump up to make this whole elaborate scheme for there to have been 2 shooters and for them to be like, this is a solid plan. This makes perfect sense. And you're just like, do you know how complex that narrative is that you just set up and how many pinpoint perfect things would have to happen for that to go? It's like, that's so much work. When you look at like the narrative that was put out by the FBI and everything afterwards, and it's like what happened and how they did it and everything, is like, that makes perfect sense. That it follows perfect logic, but people just can't handle the perfect logic. Like, no, it has to be a deeper thing. It has to be an inside job. There has to have been a shooter over here in the fields, plus the guy up at the tower, and then the third guy with the black umbrella who disappeared, and he had to turn the umbrella twice in order for them to time their shots correctly. It's like the dude just decided he had enough, and he just shot him. Like that's the simple answer, and that's all there really was to it. And everyone just went down this whole massive rabbit hole. And it was like, I love the dedication to all these different possible aspects, but the amount of work that you have to come up with for it to finally be like, yep, this is the plan they went with. This is how they executed it. It's like, it's so much work. There's no way. Plus, anytime you make that much work in anything, the more things you put into it, the more points of failure you can possibly have. The less detailed the plan is, the less points of failure it can have. So, yeah.
Very accurate.
Yeah.
Y'all.
Any last things, Jackson? Any last things you want to talk about?
Nope, that's it.
Cool.
Head empty.
Head empty. Still empty.
Yep.
An hour and 40 minutes later, still head empty.
Absolutely.
Fair enough. All right, chat. Well, Breach says, one theory I find amusing is that the government actually runs conspiracy sites about 9/11 and such an issue and image of control. That's one of those conspiracy theories I'm like, interesting. I have no desire to look any further into that because nothing about that is gripping. It's kind of like, sure, maybe, but in reality, probably not.
Shrug.
It's like one of those conspiracy theories where it's like where the government is like hiding all these different things, like perfect example about that Area 51, where it's like the government is hiding all these alien secret projects, and the reason they don't want anybody going into the Area secret ones is because they have all the hidden stuff in there, and that's why they're purging it on Google Maps and everything, and it's all that. And it's like, you realize if they wanted to hide something that badly, they already have done the work, and you guys have only done extra work for them. Because in you talking about Area 51 and bringing up all this crazy stuff, like this is where the most secretive projects of possible abilities are, and all this crazy stuff is in here. You know what they've probably done? They've been like, no, this is just weapons testing. But all the cool secret stuff, we're going to move to a different location now. But we're going to pretend this is as secret as you think it is because it makes us look better. It does.
That just reminds me of the people that were Naruto running.
Yes, there was also that event.
My God. Those people were going to get shot.
Yep. 100% they're going to be shot. American Army doesn't give a fuck how old you are, how weeby you are. If you pass that fence and you run towards that military base, they have the authority to shoot on sight. Mm-hmm. It's just like people that fuck with the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, if you know about that.
In France.
No, this is in America. I don't know about the Tomb of an Unknown Soldier in France. That's news to me.
Oh, I believe there's one... something like that.
Okay. Yeah, there's a Tomb of an Unknown Soldier in America. It was just during the First World War, they recovered a body who was unrecognizable, and they decided, you know what, we're going to entomb him on this big, massive tomb. It's going to be called Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and it's going to represent all the soldiers that were recovered from battle whose remains could not be identified. Mm-hmm. So this tomb will represent all those fallen who couldn't be returned to their families because we couldn't identify them. They were blown to nothingness. And there is a sectioned off corner where there's always, day and night, rain, heat, or snow, there is always an officer at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, pacing back and forth with a loaded rifle, standing on guard for the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. 24/7, always someone on watch. Mm-hmm. And there's a restricted barrier, and they have full authority. Anyone, except for the armed guard on duty and people transferring position on duty, have full authority to shoot anyone who crosses that barrier. Civilians, babies, doesn't matter. And you can watch YouTube videos, not of them shooting anybody, but of people who are like want to get a closer picture with the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier or the guard on duty, and they'll go under the thing, and the guard takes the weapon, loads the bolt, and says, "Get back behind the chains and rails," and points the gun at that person. And it's like they have full authority to shoot to kill. And it's like, you know they do have this authority, but you challenge it anyways. And it's like it's one of those things where like one day, someone is going to challenge that. Someone is going to be like, you know what? I don't think they do. They won't shoot a civilian, and they will fuck around and they'll find out. Mm-hmm. So, because they're not for show. They are fully loaded, ready to fire, and they do not fuck around. And as much as I meme on America and everything, there are certain things about America that I'm like, they don't fuck around when it comes to that. I have full respect for that. So, anyways. Yes, Breach says, the Sentinels have live ammo constantly marching in front of the monument. Yep. That's what they're called, the Sentinel for the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. So yeah, they don't fuck around. That shit, it's not like when we were in Air Cadets and we had like decommissioned rifles. Nope, that shit is fully functional. So, anywho, that's it for the Totally Unstructured podcast for today. We got into some heavy stuff. Well, I wouldn't say anything was really that heavy. We got some interesting stuff. We memed on fucking Twitter and all that bullshit.
Get dunked on.
Yep. And yeah, we learned a lot. I had a good time. So, thank you guys so much for coming down to the Totally Unstructured podcast. If you enjoyed it, be sure to tell your friends. If you didn't, be sure to tell us. And we will see you guys all hopefully in about 2 weeks' time when we return for the next Totally Unstructured podcast. Until then, my name is WinglessValkyrie. You can find me at WinglessValkyrie everywhere. His name is Riffixix. You can find him at Riffixix on Twitter and anything else?
I don't use Twitter.
Oh, sorry, I meant to say Twitch, but you do have a Twitter. Well, sorry, you have an X. You have an X.
I technically have an X. Yep. I have never used it.
Nope.
I've never done a single thing with it.
Nope.
I haven't even scrolled Twitter.
And you probably never will.
I won't.
No, that's fine. Well, nonetheless, you can find us at our respective places.
Twitter doesn't exist anymore. But
that's true. It doesn't exist anymore. It's only X now, just X. So, anywho, thank you guys so much for being here. If you enjoyed the podcast, tell your friends. If you didn't, you tell me and him, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.